Support your locals, starting with Space Smoke Shop, located on 125 East Pennington Street, Tucson, Arizona. Space Smoke Shop, local glass, cheap tobacco, any drink you can think of. We're also a hookah lounge and a venue. Like us on Facebook to keep up with shows, deals, and new products.
And Punk Rock Tuesday. Every second and fourth Tuesday. It's Punk Rock Tuesday. Woo!
Be sure to tell them you heard about it on the GMR Podcast. See you soon. Hello and welcome to the GMR Podcast, show 39. We're going to start things off tonight with a little bit of an experiment we did a few days ago, simply titled GMR CultCast. We got a hold of a digital recorder that's portable. It's kind of lo-fi, but that adds to the charm. So, it's a little bit of that, and then we'll start off the show.
I'm recording. That looks cool. Yeah, I'm recording for our test podcast on my little dealy dab.
GMR CultCast.
It's a CultCast, man. Look at the date is completely wrong. We're like a month off.
Oh, yeah. Daylight Savings Month.
When's daylight savings time start?
End of the month, I think.
Son of a bitch. You hear the government shutdown?
Yeah.
What are we going to do about that, man? How are we going to go to the national park?
I guess you're not going to get to go right now.
Heard all these veterans showed up this morning at the Washington Monument, and they were all like, you know, guys in wheelchairs from World War II and stuff, and they were all like, no, it's closed. But I think they broke through the barrier anyway.
Yeah, there was pictures of that on Google.
So that's where you get your news from, Google. That's how you know all stuff.
GMR CultCast. Yeah, because AOL, I still use AOL.
No, and you get like news that pops up?
I get my news from the Huffington Post.
Because I'll ask you a question about shit, and it's like, yeah, I know about that. And I'm like, how the fuck does he know about that? He doesn't watch TV. I guess Howard Stern, you learn a lot of stuff.
That is where a lot of my news comes from.
I mean, if it wasn't for Howard Stern, if it wasn't for that news story that Robin did about some of these college guys pouring liquor up their butts, Richard Christie would have never put his...
That never would have happened.
GMR. 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 GMR.
You know, it's just like listening to phone callers about how it's like I don't know. It's like they're doing their own super fan roundup or some shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, back in the early days of the podcast where it would take me forever to hook the mics up. And
that didn't take very long at all today.
No, you learn. It's October.
You live, you learn.
That's right. October 4th, 2013, GMR 39.
And as they said on Steve Dave, YOLO. You know what that means, right?
Refresh my memory.
YOLO. You only live once.
Oh.
Like it was driving fucking Walter Flanagan crazy one day. How many times Quinn said or somebody said YOLO. I listen to way too many podcasts, and it gets confusing to remember which one, where I heard this or where I fucking heard that. That's my story.
I'm Marty Catola.
And I'm Gene.
And everybody else is somewhere else today. Off doing things. 4 weeks to Comic-Con.
Tucson Comic-Con, November 2nd at the Tucson Convention Center.
Yep. I go just to walk around.
You're not going there to meet the Honky Tonk Man again?
I don't think he's going to be there.
He said he wasn't going to be there at Phoenix, but I'd like to think he will. I told him he ought to. And I know my opinion, that was probably enough to change his mind, you know?
That's right. So, the update on the cold.
Oh, cold's gotten way worse.
So you got that going for you.
Yeah. Just went to the store and bought some Tylenol cold multi-symptom severe.
Oh, we'll see if that kicks in before the podcast
Yeah,
is over.
I'm gonna take me a shot of that. It's got 0.5% alcohol. That means it's 1%. Woo, that ain't that much alcohol.
Woo! And you watched The Abyss yesterday.
Yeah, well, let's not shoot our whole wad right now. I'm still trying to open this goddamn bottle,
that was
dude.
stuff you said before I hit record,
Okay.
so I thought you were under the impression that we'd already started recording.
No, I knew we had.
Sometimes we start podcasting before we hit record. I don't know if you at home have noticed this, or in your car, or
Damn child-proof shit.
See-
Back when I was a kid, nothing was child-proof. And then some asshole went and put some fucking, what was it? Cyanide in the Tylenol capsules.
Oh, in the 80s, yeah.
And now everything has to be child-proof. Everything has to be child-proof because one fucking asshole fucked up or one kid started the house on fire.
One rotten apple spoils the bunch.
Now we gotta go to our lowest common denominator every time.
Who drives their car and listens to the podcast? Send us a tweet
Waiting for those tweets.
at GMR Podcast.
Tweet.
Now, it also makes me think that back in the day, everything was a glass container. The other day, that peanut butter fell, and back in the day, that would have been a jar, and that would have been a horrible mess. If you were around in the 70s or before, you probably remember cleaning up something similar to that. Now, on an unrelated note, in the 70s, I remember one Saturday afternoon. I don't know, did I talk about this on the podcast or not? We'll see. Maybe I'm in repeats here.
I remember.
I was eating glazed donuts and watching, probably one of those Don Knotts movies where he turns into a fish or something.
Oh, that's a good one.
One of those. Something like that, or maybe a haunted house or something. Some of those weird comedies. Eating the donut and then probably went and got a second one. And then halfway through, you realize something's crawling on the donut.
Oh.
And the donut was covered with ants.
Yikes.
These are things that happen when you're like 6 or
Did
7.
you continue to eat the donuts?
Oh, no.
You
no.
freaked out at that point,
yeah.
and you were like, ah.
I don't remember if vomiting actually ensued. But, yeah, so I'm sure everybody out there has had those nasty experiences where something really gross like that happens. And that's like being in the 70s, back when television would end at like 11 o'clock at night, midnight. It would just go off. Now TV never goes off.
I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah, we are in repeats here. Well, it is it's October.
The first all-night television we had here in Tucson
Listening to those old podcasts.
was they started showing CNN all night.
Ah, yes.
And they'd repeat that. Remember that? You'd see the same stories every fucking 3 hours.
Yep.
Over and over and over and over and over again. But it was the only thing on television, so we fucking liked it. Oh, so The Abyss. You ever see that movie?
I probably
It's crazy.
have no clear memory of it.
No? It's the one where they put the mouse in the and they were breathing liquids. Remember that?
Something like that. Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, I really hope you would remember more of it. All right, let's talk about Judge Dredd. You remember that? I watched that as well.
Will there be Abyss or Judge Dredd cosplay at Comic-Con?
Huh, what would Abyss cosplay look like?
I don't know.
Those outfits, those diving suits were pretty
Transparent.
badass. But,
Giant walking bubble.
I thought I saw some Judge Dredd cosplay last year, didn't you?
Possibly.
I know I've seen it at some point.
No, Rob Schneider was in that movie, and I thought that was... The whole thing is odd casting. It's about the level of Demolition Man, the movie about Taco Bell taking over the world.
There was some product placement in this. There was definitely a Coors ad. Coors beer on there was like a machine that would go up and down the hall that says be nice, be friendly to each other or something, and eat recycled food. Recycled food is good and okay for you. It was all right. There was no nudity in it though. That's the problem I had with it. Whereas The Abyss did have a little bit of nudity in it. So I'm giving The Abyss 3 stars and Judge Dredd 4.
How about that latest Project Badass video?
Oh, that was badass, dude. Country Frank, Country Mac. Can't wait to meet Country Frank.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we met Frank's brother once.
Yeah.
And then we know who Charlie's replacement in the gang is, Schmitty.
Schmitty. Oh, yeah, that one dude from Saturday Night Live.
So we've never seen the alternate D or Dennis yet.
Do you don't watch Brickleberry, huh?
No, but you heard about somebody thought that they ripped off Riley's alien speak on the new episode of Brickleberry, and Howard was just like, it's an homage, it's not a ripoff.
I forget.
And they're like, did you watch the episode? He's like, no. And it's like, well, how can you tell it? He's like, I'm done with dealing with this shit.
Who, Riley?
I got to get out of here, Robin.
No.
So that was a recap.
I haven't heard that. I heard the episode with the guy, whatever his name was, the clown.
Oh, Yucko. Yeah,
Yucko,
one
the
of
clown.
the creators of Brickleberry.
Yeah. Which gives me a little more appreciation for it. You might enjoy it.
So now he's going to be just Roger now, or no.
Roger Black.
He decided to not burn the clown costume.
He was never going to burn the clown costume. See, now this podcast is a mix of like Stern Nations, like a mix of all. We're just talking about all the crap.
Exactly.
Not anything in depth, mind you.
No, it's just an attempt to get the
We're
ratings
not going to get
up.
to the bottom of anything here.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to explore different aspects of reality.
That's right. Make you think.
I took one shot of that stuff. Should I take another one? How long does it take for that shit to kick
I
in?
don't take that stuff, so I don't really know. What's it say on the bottle?
Oh, there's a lot of small print in the bottle.
Well, that could make for some interesting podcast material. You say podcast before it.
Podcast. It's supposed to do all the things I need it to do. To open, read. All right, the directions are behind the thing. You can't even read the directions in the store. They're hidden in a booklet taped to the back. A whole booklet. There's a whole booklet here.
Back in the day, they didn't do that. Before childproof.
No, goddamn these kids! I tell you, why don't you just keep an eye on your fucking kids? What's wrong with you? Like Marty's running around the house. What the hell were you doing? All kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, there was nobody there. I don't think there was anybody there. But the real question is, why were those donuts still in the kitchen?
How'd the ants get in?
From the back porch.
Was the door open?
Probably.
You have a dog?
Not then, no. But apparently we had an ant problem.
Severe liver damage may occur if you take more than 12 tablespoons in 24 hours, which is the maximum daily amount.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good Lord. So you're just pushing it. You're taking the amount. I don't know if that's the recommended amount.
Probably not.
But that's the most you're supposed to take. Now, how many? It doesn't say how many are in here. It isn't like a bottle of soda or something. How many
servings?
How many servings per container? I've always used these things. Take as needed until pain goes away or until you can't see straight. Okay, let's see. It doesn't say anything in here. There was too many pages. I quit. I'm just going to chug it, Marty. Forget my liver. It doesn't matter. I'm too sick. Stop using and ask a doctor if you experience nervousness, dizziness, sleeplessness.
What, it'll keep you up?
That's what it says. That could be a side effect.
Wow.
I do not need that.
That Benadryl never kept me up.
Yeah, I should have got that too, but then
you can't be. You shouldn't be mixing and matching.
you can.
You can, but one from each food group.
That's where is it? Let's see. I don't know. I hate taking medication
And you got
that I don't find in the alley.
You got that pumpkin ale.
Yeah, but it says I can't. I can only have 3 alcoholic beverages a day if I'm taking this shit.
Oh yeah.
or I'm going to get severe liver damage, Marty.
That's not good.
I'm going to take some more of this shit because I don't feel any effect at all. And it's been how many minutes we've been doing this podcast?
13.
It's been at least 10 minutes. And I know drugs are supposed to kick in instantly, right?
That fast acting.
It's an acting.
It's an act.
Why am I using the measuring cup? What the fuck is wrong with me?
How often do you get to use that measuring cup?
Not very
You
often.
Savor these moments.
I should keep it. It's a nice little shot glass.
Your spoon collection.
I put all my spoons in there.
Peace and love, peace and love. I will not sign any more fan mail, so don't even send it.
Who said that?
Did you hear that Ringo Starr announcement?
No.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Is that like old?
I think it's fairly recent.
Because you remember that Simpsons episode where
Yeah,
Marge sent the
exactly.
picture?
Mm-hmm.
He was actually on the show? Okay, I've taken 2 of them.
Yeah,
Now,
that's an early one.
now I'll smoke a cigarette to see if my lungs clear up.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel something. Oh, so I was down at the Space Smoke Shop, and they got their listings of events throughout the month, next couple months.
I saw somebody wearing a Freedom Assault shirt.
Is that right?
Yeah. I do realize that when we made the 3 podcasts from Comic-Con, they should have all been one podcast. Because the second one, barely anybody listens to it. You all listen to the first hour, but everybody's missing out on the second hour of that one. So if it had been all one long podcast.
That was us in front of Chipotle, right?
Oh, that's the third part of that.
All right,
which
what is
actually,
part 2 then?
3 does better than 2. 2 is the second half of the hotel.
Ah.
But anyways, the event's at the Space Smoke Shop.
Oh, yeah, they have Punk Rock Tuesdays listed right there. So, Punk Rock Tuesdays every second and fourth Tuesday at the Space Smoke Shop.
Oh, I thought it was every Tuesday.
No, it used to be every Tuesday, but it was unsustainable. Having to move equipment and stuff like that. Anyway, every second and fourth Saturday. That would be this coming up Tuesday.
That's right.
I just said Saturday. I meant Tuesday.
Now, Toxic Ranch is closing soon,
At the end of the year, yeah, we should go down there and buy some vinyl.
and they're going to be having concerts. And I read an interview with one of the people that runs the place, and they were talking about some of the best shows over the years that had been done there.
And they mentioned Alice Donut.
They mentioned ZTTF. Did I say 3 T's? Playing with Alice Donut. And
yeah.
And I thought, wow, they actually played a show together? I'd never heard you talk about that.
I missed that show.
Ah.
I've seen the video before. I don't know what happened to that either. Or either, or something.
But yeah, reading that, I was like, oh, okay.
They actually played in the record shop.
Yeah, Room and Max Waxy played there once.
It's crazy. Alice Donut has played twice in Tucson that I know of. And I didn't see either show. They played both I think both shows with the task force.
And they played Arizona Alley, and they didn't even realize it. Like a lot of bands.
What, Alice Donut?
Yeah, we sat out there and played so much that it was almost as if we probably turned more Couch Slugs onto it than would have. The Couch Slugs would come down to our old alleyway show in the middle of the night, and they would kind of absorb everything that we threw at them. That's how I like to remember it, anyway.
No, we were.
They threw stuff at us too, like hats and shoes. I have a vague recollection of somebody throwing a hat at us one night. Better than getting eggs thrown.
Yeah, at least that never happened.
But I'm all over the place.
Worst
here.
thing that ever happened was syphilis.
Syphilis is a pretty bad thing that could happen. Syphilis was one of the couch slugs.
Touching me with his filthy, filthy hand.
Couch slugs were these gutter kids. So we have all of our weird new shows speak.
Yeah, that's 20 years ago.
That was.
Almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What are we going to do for the 20th anniversary? Got any plans?
Well, 20 years ago this month, Room formed for the first time in their first incarnation.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about 6 months before the new show started. Well, the 20-year anniversary of Instant Access and the new show, that 10-hour-long show we used to do in the alleyway of Tucson, Arizona. Yes, the alleyway of Tucson, Arizona. We did that 20 years ago. It'll also be the 30-year anniversary of TCCC, Tucson Community Cable Corporation, also known as Access Tucson, the public access station where we do programming from. That turns 30 years old next year, so I guess both anniversaries will coincide. So that means when we started doing that TV show, they had just turned 10 years old. But yet I remember no 10-year celebration. Of course, I was suspended from the place at the time, so... I do remember Pogs. I remember Access Tucson Pogs.
They had their own Pogs?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had a Pog back then.
And then
it was a crazy time.
We took two of them and taped them together and wrote the news show on the other side. We had news show Pogs.
We had to catch in on the craze. That's what all the kids were into.
I don't know if any of that stuff exists anymore.
Had a lot of Alf Pogs. Remember that?
Alf Pogs, yeah. He's back and in Pog form.
Alf is on, of course all that shit's on cable all the time.
That's rough.
That show's weird. You ever watch it?
I used to watch it all the time.
Alf was, what the fuck was wrong with him?
He was an alien who ate cats.
And liked to wear women's clothes and watch them change and all drink beer.
What else you gonna do?
He never did eat the cat though. Come on.
No. Not that cat, anyway.
He was molesting that boy, too. He got his hands all over that kid's ass.
It's like that furry movie, that UFO kidnapped thing. For more obscure references.
I've been thinking, it's pretty obvious, but furries are just legal bestiality for grown-ups, right?
They have their mice parties.
Oh, yeah. The mice party. Did we ever talk about that?
No.
You should talk about that.
That was a first episode or second episode.
It was the first episode.
And already having covered the furry topic.
The first episode of what, they may be wondering?
It's
Monty Python, Flying Circus.
And they covered the topic of furries in 1969 when they were still just referred to as mouse parties. Yeah. I guess people just dressed up as mice back then. They hadn't spread out to various other...
I think not as intense as it is today, no. Where now it's like completely acceptable. Back then they lived in shame.
Yeah, I remember seeing The Shining, and when Jack Nicholson sees furries in the room, it's scary, it's disturbing.
What were the furries? I don't remember.
And now it's just like, oh, there's just furries,
Furries, they're harmless.
But when you're a little kid and you watch that movie, it comes off frightening. Because you're like, what the fuck is that? And I'm a little kid. Why am I saying fuck? I don't know. For the same reason I'm eating a donut that has ants crawling on it.
Because my mom's not home.
Red fire ants, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The big ones.
Yeah. No, they were little.
Little piss ants.
Oh, it was so disgusting.
I called those
all
piss
over
ants.
my hand, and, glazed donuts, so it's all sticky already. Happy Halloween, everybody.
I was at the bus stop the other day, and the entire bus stop, the bench was covered with little piss ants.
Wow.
I was like, fuck.
They were waiting for a bus.
Apparently.
They could have carried that bench away.
There was a wall. I decided to lean against the wall. They were on the fucking wall, too.
Oh, man.
It's like a short wall, like about 4 feet high or some shit.
Like a Peanuts-sized wall where Charlie Brown and Linus would always hang out at the wall.
It's a good place to hang out.
They never got attacked by ants.
When I was a kid, I read every Charlie Brown book there was.
Oh, I love that
Every
stuff.
bit of it. And whenever the fucking cartoons were on, I had to watch those too.
Oh, of course.
Over and over, every year I had to watch that.
Well, you had 3 channels, and you waited for that shit to come on. It was only on once a year.
Oh, shit.
If you didn't watch it, you didn't see it.
You should watch the Charlie Brown Halloween special.
Oh, yeah, of course. I Got a Rock. Peanuts is probably the longest work of fiction written by a single person. Charles Schultz drew and wrote that strip for 50 years straight.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's probably the longest work of fiction.
I've seen like new Peanuts cartoons somewhere. They're just messed up though. I don't think I liked them.
Yeah, nobody's really supposed to be allowed to create any future Peanut strips or anything. Although you will see them used in advertisements and clothing, and I'll see people wearing shirts, and there's a Peanuts character and some saying that's modern, and I think they never said that because he died in like 99 or 2000. That term did not exist. I don't know, it just rubs me wrong. At least Disney does not yet own Charlie Brown. King's Features Syndicate still owns that. So, but what they've done, and they're still putting out the last few, is they're publishing Dark Horse Comics, publishing every Peanut strip. There's something like 30, 40 volumes of it.
Yeah.
They started like with 1950, and they're probably somewhere in the 80s by now. They put them out, I think, quarterly. If I had the extra money, I might pick that stuff up. It would be interesting to read that from beginning to end.
Now, those are going to cost you quite a bit of cash.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're about $20 or so a piece, the complete Peanuts. October 18th, 2013, the next volume comes out. Volume 20, 1989, 1990.
Wow. Yeah, wasn't that into it at that point.
Yep, and he's still going.
I want to see the live-action cartoon or live-action movie.
I used to watch those Charlie Brown movies obsessively.
The Great Race.
Yeah, what the fuck was that one called? The Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown. Snoopy Come Home.
Yeah.
And then the one I was really obsessed with, the Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown. This is in the early days of cable, still the 70s in Virginia, mind you.
You had cable in the 70s?
We had 3 channels, and then one day we had a little box where you'd flip the switch and you could see the movie channel. And so that's where I started obsessively memorizing cable guides and shit. Every time The Jerk was on, I'd get up and watch it. Every time Caddyshack was on, I remember getting up at 6 a.m. watching Caddyshack, having the shit memorized. My sister's going, how do you have this movie memorized? You're not even supposed to be watching this. Smoking grass, bad caddying. You know, I'm going around quoting that shit and I don't even know what I'm talking about at 5 years old. But I would get up and watch Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown over and over again. It's one where they go to France or something. I don't even hardly remember it now, but yeah, I would obsessively get up and watch that. And if some fucked up horror movie was still on before the movie I was watching, I'd get freaked out because I didn't want to see it, but I had to watch it anyway. Oh, Apocalypse Now, The Black Hole. I must have watched The Black Hole like 30 times.
I'd love to see The Black Hole again. I used to have a bunch of those action figures.
Oh, really? All I ever had was the bubblegum cards and the read-along book.
Didn't have it on vinyl?
No. I had it on cassette.
I like the early Peanuts cartoons where they were just all simple. They were just like little kids hanging out in the fucking lot.
Yeah. They published a book of that, too, before it became Peanuts, when they were like the Charlie Brown and the Little People or whatever it was called.
I don't.
But yeah, it's just every single strip in chronological order.
And they're all on the internet, so you can just read them there?
There is a site where you can read comic strips daily, and they've got all the archived Peanuts, all the Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes. Now that Calvin and Hobbes guy, he retired and he's done. Now, how many people do that? They say, I'm going to draw this strip for a few years, then I'm done. I'm not doing anything else ever, and I'm not licensing it. Forget it. I'm going to go paint in the woods. The guy from Far Side, he stopped, doesn't do anything anymore. It's incredible.
No, there's a whole new animation domination on Fox now. New Simpsons, new Family Guy, new Bob's Burger, new American Dad. It's good shit. I don't know if you like that stuff.
Well, what I do like and we'll leave you with this, is Garfield minus John. Now, somebody went through Garfield strips. And they removed John from the strips.
Oh, he was in the strip and
Now,
they just pulled him out?
Also, what's even better than this,
Okay.
I think, is minus Garfield. And then it looks like John is just crazy and talking to himself.
Well,
so if you haven't seen these,
isn't
search
he?
them on Google.
If you think about it, he's talking to his fucking cat and his dog.
Yeah, Garfield minus Garfield is a site dedicated to removing Garfield from the Garfield comic strips in order to reveal the existential angst of a certain young Mr. John Arbuckle. GMR
Podcast.
GMR. 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 GMR.